This is the Test Security Training Module for Oregon Statewide Assessment System, required for all district and school test coordinators as well as all test administrators. The topics that this module will cover include the requirements for a secure testing environment, handling and disposal of hard copies of secure test materials, identifying and preventing testing improprieties and irregularities, as well as reporting any potential improprieties or irregularities. The first topic is secure testing environment requirements, which is important for multiple reasons. First, we must ensure the results of the assessment are valid for accountability purposes by having consistency in administration practices across schools and districts. Second, maintaining the security of test items, questions, and stimuli, reading passages, is necessary so that these items and stimuli can be used in future years to maintain measure comparability and use the results to identify trends in performance. Ultimately, the goal of maintaining a secure testing environment ensures that no students have an unfair advantage or disadvantage during testing. Please reference Section 2.2 of the TAM for more information. Test security generally involves who has access to secure test materials, what students can see and hear while testing, and what resources students can access while testing. To ensure a secure test environment, there are requirements that must be met in preparation for testing, during testing, and once testing has been completed. Table 11 included in Section 2.2 of the TAM provides a list of requirements that must be met during these three phases to maintain the security of test materials and the security and validity of student responses from start to finish, and is an excellent resource to consult at each phase. Please note that a secure testing environment refers to the conditions under which the tests are administered and do not imply or require a specific location. Within the same school, a secure testing environment could be created in multiple locations, such as a classroom, library, or a small conference room. A secure testing environment is expected for all tests in every testing session. Section 2.4 of the TAM specifically addresses the requirements in place around handling secure printed test materials, including printed items and stimuli, students' notes and rough drafts, and scratch paper. It is critical each school have protocols in place and ensure they are followed, that ensure only the student and authorized staff who have a signed assurance of test security form have access to these secure materials. This is referred to as maintaining a secure chain of command of printed secure materials from printing or writing, in the case of scratch paper, to secure disposal. This protocol should include both test administrators and non-TAs who may be assisting in the storage and/or destruction of secure materials. It is also important that all individuals who will be handling secure test materials, including students, understand that they must be securely destroyed immediately following the end of each test session and what may be securely retained between sessions until the student completes that test. Please refer to Section 2.4 of the TAM for a complete description of these criteria. Please contact Testing Help for any questions. The following list contains situations that resulted in the most common improprieties within PPS. Cell phones, students pulling them out during testing. A student leaving the test environment with an active test and Chromebook in hand. Supports not being entered before testing started. Visual, instructional material on the walls of the classroom. The test administrator who launched the test leaving the room. A proctor, test administrator who has initiated a test session but is not monitoring the students properly, the improper storage and managing of the scratch paper, students who are opted out or intended to take the extended assessment but had not been blocked and tied and accidentally launched a test, the wrong test being launched for the student, and again, adults viewing test items. For any questions regarding potential improprieties, please call Testing Help. An impropriety is any behavior that is prohibited because it gives students an unfair advantage or compromises the security or the validity of the test. This includes behaviors committed by either adults or students, whether intentionally or by accident. Section 3.1 and 3.2 of the TAM provides tables that identify examples of common adult and student-initiated test improprieties. However, it is important to note that these tables are not exhaustive. Preventing adult versus student-initiated improprieties may call for different strategies, but the following rules of thumb can go a long way in preventing many improprieties. It is always important to note that historically more improprieties are adult-initiated, underscoring the importance of having preventative protocols and procedures in place. Please ensure all adults and students are aware of the testing environment rules and expectation before testing begins. This can help prevent many accidental improprieties by both adults and students. Check the test environment to make sure that it is secure before, during, and after testing. This includes checking ahead of time to ensure there are no non-allowable resources posted or available for students, that there is sufficient spacing and visual barriers between student testing stations, and that the environment is quiet and void of distraction. Finally, test administrators need to closely supervise the test environment while testing is in progress to make sure that the environment remains secure and that the students continue to follow the rules. Always check the TAM and seek clarification before testing begins if there is any doubt about whether a particular resource or behavior is permissible, either for students or for adults. In addition to the tables on Section 3.1 and 3.2 of the TAM, ODE has developed a promising practice document available on our PPS webpage. When a potential impropriety or irregularity occurs, it is essential that the first course of action is to pause all impacted tests until the incident is reported, investigated, and resolved. Any potential test impropriety or irregularity must be reported up the chain of communication so that the incident may be investigated in a timely manner and appropriate outcome identified as quickly as possible. Immediately pausing tests impacted by a potential test impropriety or irregularity and not resuming testing before district test coordinator's full investigation and confirmation from ODE regarding the outcome mitigates impact on students. In some cases, allowing a student to continue testing before resolving the issue can significantly limit the options available to that student. Resuming testing before resolution can make the difference between the tests impacted can be reset and remain valid, or must be invalidated, and the testing opportunity lost to that student or students. If there is any doubt about whether an incident or behavior is permissible, either for students or adults, always check the TAM or call testing help for support. Within PPS, when a potential test impropriety or irregularity occurs, pause the test. Testing help needs to be contacted immediately. Please attempt to notify your school test coordinator so they may contact testing help. If your STC is unavailable, call testing help and follow up with your STC as soon as possible. Provide testing help with as much information as possible. When an impropriety occurs, ODE will work with the DTC to confirm the appropriate outcome. All possible outcomes are summarized in Table 14 of Section 3.5 of the TAM shown here on the slide. Think about your testing conditions and your students who you will be administering the assessments to. What are some strategies you can use or implement at your school to prevent improprieties? The following resources are available on the PPS assessment page.